And the God of mercy.
This pattern of targeting Christians, targeting Catholic priests, targeting individual men, women, and children is horrific, and my legislation would put real consequences on the government of Nigeria.
Any headsmen invaded this community, killed and macheted the Irigwe people. I am telling you, the situation is very disheartening. Over 50 people have been killed.
Yeah, if I will give you the account of women that lost their husband, we have about 570 something women that Fulani people killed their husband. We have so many widows and orphans in this community. So we are tired. This thing enough is enough. We want Fulani people to stop doing all this thing that they are doing to Uruguay people.
But I can tell you that a lot of Muslims have lost their lives in the last 5-10 years. The same way Christians have also lost their lives. So my personal opinion is that Nigerians have lost their lives as a result of insurgencies, banditry, and others.
In Borno State, my state, recently, over 53 people, all Muslims, were killed. That external legislative action based on incomplete or decontextualized assessment risks undermining Nigerian sovereignty, misrepresenting facts, straining strategic relations.
The main problem here comes from one, those who deliberately demarcate Nigeria outside the country, including Nigerians, for a variety of reasons. Two, gross misinformation deeply embedded in the nature of the American educational system.
It is a deliberate attempt to damage Nigeria's image.
This is the church, almost getting to 1 hour. They are trying to have access to this church, and securities are here. We are all hidden here. We just hide, but we saw them. They just give them back up.
When we go into executive session, we can decide to set up a small ad hoc committee to go to United States of America and engage our colleague parliamentarians there.
They call it the Middle Belt, a land where the soil is red, the rivers run deep, and the people sing hymns through pain. But in the past decade, those hymns have turned into cries. From the burnt churches of Plateau to the shattered villages of Benue, from Kaduna South to Taraba, one question keeps haunting the nation. Is Nigeria witnessing a Christian genocide? The question itself is explosive. It shakes the foundation of Africa's most populous country, a nation that prides itself on being one under God. But when the world started using that word genocide to describe what's happening in Nigeria, the government went on defense. The United States called it a crisis. Donald Trump called it an unbelievable slaughter of Christians. But the Nigerian authorities called it a foreign exaggeration. So, on this video we asked the difficult question, is this the truth of a silent genocide or a narrative shaped by politics and perception? Let's find out. It began quietly, long before hashtags and viral videos. There were whispers from farming communities, buried in the hearts of Plateau and Benue, in villages like Bakinladi, Aguta, and Guma. Families who go to bed and never wake up. Night after night, gunmen storm homes, setting roofs ablaze, slashing through huts, shooting indiscriminately. At first, they called it farmer-header conflict, a battle over land and grazing routes. But the pattern soon became too disturbing to ignore. Churches were targeted, pastors and reverends were killed on the pulpits, children shot in the classrooms marked with crosses. It stopped looking like a fight over farmland. It started looking like something darker. By 2018, global Christian organizations, from Open Doors to Christian Solidarity Worldwide, began publishing shocking statistics. Thousands of Christians killed across Nigeria's Middle Belt. Hundreds of churches burnt to ashes. Entire community displaced, left in refuge camps within their own country. The world began to take notice. The US President, Donald Trump, said something that would echo across the Atlantic. We have been hearing reports about the killings of Christians in Nigeria. Horrible things. It is a disgrace. We are working on it. Trump's statement followed an allegation leveled against the federal government of Nigeria of ignoring the genocide going on in Nigeria. Was the world accusing Nigeria of genocide? Was Trump's remark a diplomatic blunder or a global awakening? Whatever it was, it had opened the floodgates of scrutiny. The Nigerian government moved swiftly, not to end the killings, but to defend its image. Information officials called the reports unbalanced and misleading. The presidency insisted Nigeria was not witnessing genocide, but localized clashes aggravated by poverty, climate change, and ethnic tension. When international human rights bodies called for action, government spokesperson accused them of bias. The message was clear. This is not genocide, the federal government claims. This is a conflict between farmers and herders. But on the ground, the story was different. Villagers in Plateau told reporters that armed herders invaded their towns, shooting. In Benue, locals spoke of coordinated attacks during church services, with attackers targeting priests and worshippers. In one tragic incident in April of 2018, 2 Catholic priests and 17 parishioners were killed during morning mass at St. Ignatius Church in Benue. Their coffins were laid side by side. The image went viral, a symbol of faith under siege. Yet, instead of a nationwide outrage, what came next was silence. Silence from Abuja. And when the government finally spoke, it was to caution against exaggerated narrative. So, Nigerians began to ask, why does the government rush to defend its image before defending its people? Why does it reject foreign reports instead of confronting the killers head-on? Some said the government feared international embarrassment. Others whispered it was deeper, that some in power were protecting interests tied to the header groups accused of the violence. But as bodies pile up, the denial only grew louder. The tension went global again. The United States, under the Donald Trump administration, officially placed Nigeria on its special watch list for religious persecution, a move that shocked the Nigerian government. Washington cited systematic, ongoing violations of religious freedom, pointing to the killings in Benue, Plateau, and southern Kaduna. Secretary of the State said that the U.S. had credible reports of violence directed against Christian communities. Nigerians' reaction: fury. The foreign affairs ministers, even Bayo Nanuga, dismissed the claims as politically motivated. Officials argued that both Muslims and Christians had been victims of insecurity, and that labeling the crisis as religious was false as divisive. But human rights groups disagreed. The International Society for Civil Liberties and the Rule of Law estimated that over 60,000 Christians have been killed since 2001. Even the Vatican expressed concern, calling the situation one of the gravest Christian persecution in modern Africa. Meanwhile, Donald Trump said, if you look at Nigeria, the Christians are being persecuted, killed and slaughtered. It is a horror story. His words reignited the global debate, and many began to wonder, if this is not genocide, then what is it? Let's strip the politics for a moment and look at the facts. The word genocide is heavy. It means deliberate, systematic extermination of a people based on religion, ethnicity, or race. So, do the killings in Nigeria fit that definition? In many cases, attacks appear targeted. Churches, pastors, reverends, Christian villages repeatedly hit. The attackers often come from outside the communities they destroy. Yet, Nigeria's reality is complex. There are also Muslim villages attacked in Zamfara, Katsina, and Sokoto. Bandits kidnap imams as well as pastors. Terror groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP have killed thousands of Muslims who refuse to join them. So while the pattern of Christian victimization is undeniable, it exists within a broader complex of security where everyone, Christian, Muslim, or traditionalist, have become prey. But here is where the Nigerian government gets it wrong. Instead of acknowledging the religious undertone of many of the attacks, it hides behind the farmer header label, a convenient excuse that avoids responsibility. Meanwhile, in rural communities, people are not debating definitions. They are burying loved ones. They are freeing ancestral lands. They are watching armed men burn down their churches, and they are asking, why is no one protecting us? Every denial from the government deepens the mistrust. Every new killing widens the divide. And as America continues to monitor Nigeria's human rights record, the tension between both governments grows sharper. The truth may lie somewhere between a mix of political failure, religious bias, and decades of unresolved ethnic tension. But whether you call it genocide or not, one fact remains. Thousands of Christians in Nigeria have been killed because of who they are, because of what they believe. If the definition of genocide depends on numbers and intent, then how many bodies must we count before we call it by its name? The Nigerian government may keep refuting the claims, but denial has never stopped bloodshed. Defensiveness has never saved a child in Plateau or a priest in Benue. If the government truly believes the genocide claim is false, then it must prove it, not with words, but with justice. Arrest the killers, end impunity, protect communities regardless of faith, because as long as the killings continue and Abuja remains silent, the world will keep asking the same haunting question: is Nigeria quietly watching a genocide unfold? From the hills of Jos to the plains of Giwa West, church bells still ring every Sunday. The people still sing, still pray, and still hope. But hope is fragile. It breaks easily under gunfire. If this is not genocide, then may the government prove it with peace. If it is, then may the world not stay silent again, as it did in Rwanda, and same with Botswana, as it might now be doing in Nigeria, because silence is complicity, and Nigeria has been silent for too far long. This is not just about religion, it is about humanity, and history will remember who stood and who stayed silent.